Hello everyone, it's me, Don't Tread on Me, and I'm here to give you a Total War Public Safety Anger Announcement, PSAA. And to do this, I'm going to show you guys this free-for-all that I played yesterday. It is a three-player free-for-all. I am playing as Spain, then there is one guy playing as Venice, and there's the host, History General, who's playing as the Moors over here. Rules were no cav or archers, including general's bodyguards, so all you could have was infantry or artillery. That was also allowed. And apparently also, we later found out that guns were allowed as well. So my army, I went for a rush style army because I knew that if my opponents did bring artillery, then I was going to be screwed. I went for basically an almost entirely full army of these dismounted conquistadors with full upgrades, which are beastly. And then to guard my flanks, I had 3 regiments each of tercio pikemen, which are also fully upgraded and all that, which is why they have their cool little armor. And I guess we can fast forward this for a little bit. And I should have known getting into we didn't originally intend for this to be a 3-player free-for-all, but it ended up being that way because all 3 of us were accidentally ready up at the same time. But anyways, here is the army of Venice of Kikaspasi, and he's got 6, I believe these, are culverins, or 7 culverins actually. He's got 4 on that side, 3 facing me. He has dismounted broken lances, and then most of the rest of his army is Venetian heavy infantry, which are pretty good. And then, yeah, just dismounted broken lances, 4 dismounted broken lances it looks like, and then 9 of these Venetian heavies, and then 7 culverin artilleries. And so I immediately spread out just to make sure that the artillery wouldn't do too much to me. And then here is the Moors, commanded by a history general who's already firing at me. And he brought basically handgunners, which we didn't know about having like muskets or anything until I noticed this. He had handgunners. He has some urban militia, and all the rest is going to be dismounted Christian Guard, except for some, if I can find them. I don't know exactly where they are, but there is also some dismounted, or not dismounted, some Hashashim somewhere around here. And then he also has a couple of cannons. And apparently also some Sudanese gunners. But yeah, he has some Hashashim as well that are somewhere around here. And so I'm going to try and rush Venice, seeing as how I'm gonna just get murdered by artillery until I do anything else. So I close up my formations and charge straight in. Ching. And I thought this would have been an easy fight, but it actually turned out to be a pretty intense fight. So as you can see, I'm basically trying to close up my formations as quickly as possible, and we're both just charging in, throwing caution to the wind. And yeah, as you can see, my guys are actually getting torn up pretty badly here. Not just from the artillery, which was pretty devastating, but also from the fact that these Venetian heavies have an insanely good charge bonus. Yeah, thankfully these guys didn't really manage to get too much of an actual charge, so I didn't have to absorb that full brunt of that charge. And then, as you can see, he's trying to flank around, so I bring out my tercio pikemen, or tercio, I don't know how to say it. I'm going to call them tercos, because it's basically what they were, is the tercos, so we'll call them the terco pikemen. And as you can see, I got caught without my pikes down, which is never a good thing. But they are going to hold the flank for me for a long time. The tercos. Now I'm trying to switch back. The tercos are actually pretty good for hand-to-hand brawls in defense, not in attack, but in defense they're okay. You see, he hasn't lost like anyone yet, but I haven't lost too many either. Although, ooh, that guy just got wrecked. Ching. Yeah, the hardest fighting was definitely on the left flank over here, because I got a pretty bad charge and all my guys are just clumped together. And my Tercos, which I was going to use to outflank, got caught up by those dismounted broken lances that had been in the back for a reserve. And now, I bet by now that you can see the main thing that I don't like about uneven numbered free-for-alls. If you could probably tell, it's the fact that this guy is not fighting at all, and he has dismounted Christian Guard, which are by far more dangerous than the what's the word? Oh yeah, the Venetians. Venetian heavies are pretty weak compared to this. And right now he's just taking shots at me, so nothing too bad yet. If he had committed his army now, which thankfully at least he didn't do that. Yep, here's 2 units of Hashishim around here. But yeah, if he had committed all of his troops right now, I would look on him a lot less favorably. But he didn't, so at least he had that going for him. And I managed to see these the Tercos are not doing too bad. I'm having issues saying the word Tercos. But he gets his broken lances in a charge over here, which is not good at all. Although, thankfully, he didn't take the time to go all the way around to my back, thankfully, but it still hurt. Although, broken lances are by far inferior, because they don't have the good charge bonus of Venetian heavies, and otherwise they're basically... Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty dire already. And this doesn't mean that just that I could lose this fight. It means that even if I win this, that I'm going to have to face a fresh Moor army, which right now is in the middle of a fierce artillery bombardment. Yeah, he's trained, I think, all 7 of his batteries on him. Just 14 cannons at once, if you can do the math. As you can see, though, over here we broke through, routed these broken lances and such. And so now we're going to take these units, and we're going to try and help out this flank, which is severely damaged at this point. Like, they're about to break. There's only a few men per unit. And I'm just trying to get them to rout as hard as I can. Thankfully, these guys... Yeah, that's the Venetian. Thankfully, these guys were surrounded from 2 sides, so they're not going to perform too great. And now they're routing, so that was good. And now I can... And these guys are also going to get chewed up, these broken lances. And then the other broken lances, which are actually pretty full, which was a problem. So I sent some reinforcements over there, 37 conquistadors, and I took all the rest over. I sent 1 to try and help with the Culverines, because even though I'm definitely not allied with the Moors in any way, I am still going to just try and eliminate Venice from the equation entirely. Boom, boom. As you can see, another rear charge hit straight into the backs of these broken lances. Over here, however, I knew I was doomed. I had a few units, but they were running out of men very quickly. As you can see, this guy was 1. Yeah, they're dead. Yeah, as you can see, there's just too many of them. I can't deal with they've finally pushed through my numbers, but we are going to give them more than enough in return for this. Losing these units didn't really matter to me at this point, so it wasn't too big of a deal. Like, I wanted to, if I could keep them alive, that'd be great, but I knew they probably weren't going to make it out alive. So I believe that was the Venetian general. As you can see, they all broke. Yep, got him.
We have captured the enemy's general. That will teach the cowardly dog to run. Now he can rest at our leisure.
Yes. And see, now Venice only has this infantry left, which is right next to the Moors. And if I was the Moors, sending up the Hashishima was a good idea, but I don't think I would have sent in what he does do, which is send in these urban militia and all that. Although he does do the smart move and take one of these units to go for the cannons to silence their fire. And at this point, I knew that I was going to lose. Like, there's no way I'm going to take on this many, like, elite Christian Guard and Hashishim with my pitiful force of conquistadors. And so the rules said no teaming, but To be fair, that guy basically played us pretty badly. He just kind of sat back like a little wussy. So accidentally, this is totally accidental. This freaking pathfinding just ruined this. I was trying to run my guys around the side to try and help my new ally with those urban militia, and instead they ran into the Culverines and decided to attack them. Not a good thing, but whatever. They actually did manage to rout these 46 urban militia somehow. Although then these Venetian heavies routed. But I believe they come back. I believe it's these 2 units that come back, along with a few others. Like I believe those broken lances come back as well. But yeah, as you can see, these cannons are now useless. And so at this point, we did team up, but at this point it's basically me versus the Moors. And so we're going to clash. Urban militia, which definitely stand no chance against conquistadors, thankfully. Even with these upgrades, they're going to hold for a while and they're going to get some kills, but they're not going to... Ooh, wrecked. But they're not going to stand in a fight and win against dismounted conquistadors. They're probably one of the best infantry units in the game. Especially with the flanks I'm getting over here. They've already lost 30 men and they're wavering. The Hashishim are really good, and I wish that my opponent hadn't brought them. Although they do rout just because the morale of being hit from 2 sides is pretty much enough to kill most people. And so you might be thinking, it looks pretty good right now. I don't know why you're so panicked. But then you figure out that there's all these Christian Guard way back here, and then there's even more Christian Guard coming right now to reinforce. Christian Guard are probably the 2nd or 3rd best infantry in the game, on my vote, my personal experience. They're really good. They are probably the best match for conquistadors that you're going to find. Yeah, as you can see, they're hacking and slashing through my conquistadors. Although they are outnumbered, so that's got that going for me at least. As you can see, I beat this unit. Oh, that conquistador's getting wrecked. But yeah, I'm beating this unit, but there's still like 8 men and they're or 7 men and they're still steady, and then on top of that they've now got 52 more Christian Guards coming to help them. Yeah, and then on top of that he pours everything in, and I forgot about my Turcos for a minute there, but I saw them and he was trying to flank, so I charged these guys like, you're not going to take my flank, and he surprisingly retreats. He probably could have absolutely annihilated my flank with those dismounted Christian Guard, but instead he stops.
By the Almighty Lord, or a military genius can bring us victory from this disgrace.
Yeah, so not great. But now I'm going to use my Turcos to charge in, getting some kills. I'm not going to perform too spectacularly. They're just pikemen in melee. And as you can see, now here comes basically the last. This was basically the last hurrah. He had some left, but I don't know, if I had a sizable army, I probably could have taken them. But I didn't have a sizable army at all at this point. He's bringing in tons of Christian Guard and urban militia, and it was not something that you'd want to face off against, especially with a depleted army like this. So I guess the lesson I'm trying to tell here is, if you're in an odd player free-for-all, well, first, make sure to guard your flanks, because they're going to betray you. And second off, I think that if you're in an odd player free-for-all, then, I don't know how to say this really, I think it should be a more honorable fight. I think, instead of doing this, where he kind of just hung back until pretty much everyone was dead, and then he just comes in and vultures the win. Then I thought that was kind of it's not a very respectable tactic or something like that, I guess. Is what I'm trying to say. As you can see, the last of my conquistadors are just being cut down right now. And yet Venice is actually still alive, so I'm actually going to live not as long as Venice will.
Our much valiant general has been captured. Our men are fleeing the battle. Rally them, or victory. Our men have fought long and are becoming tired.
So yeah, that was the end of this fight, and he sends off some units to chase these down, which was kind of weird considering it wasn't a last man standing. This was this was a last man standing. Excuse me. This wasn't a scored resolution, so I don't know why he took his handgunners to charge after 5 conquistadors, especially when he could have just shot them in the first place. Like, they wouldn't run out of your range in that much time. And as you can see, he's going to clean up the Venice, Culverin crews, which are still here, which didn't get dealt with originally. But, you know, they're going to get mowed down now. There's nothing really helping it. Urban Guard are way too good. Even though we saw that one unit of 43 route, but they're not that good. They're not good enough to the point where they're going to lose to a Culverin, especially at this point in the battle where Venice's general's gone and my general's gone. Although that doesn't matter because my army's gone. But Venice's general's gone versus a very healthy Moorish force. It's not going to happen. Although, you know, they're not doing terribly. I mean, they're getting on some hits at least. Although, yeah, now they're just getting murdered. And then the last of his knights are also getting cut down by the dismounted Christian guard. Like I said, pretty much the best infantry in the game besides dismounted conquistadors. And so all he's got left at this point is these Venetian heavies. Oh, slow motion. Wrecked. Yeah, especially because these Venetians didn't even get a charge off. Although, look, they're going to cut down. There goes 2 Christian guards right there. Like, they're definitely not bad, but they definitely rely on their charge to carry them on into melee. There goes another one. Like, it's definitely... the charge is definitely their greatest asset in a fight. It's not that they're great, like, units so much as they're just... once they get in, like, if they get in a good charge, then it's going to be hard to take them on with the numbers that you have left versus a basically healthy Venetian heavy. Although, I mean, he is murdering quite a few Moors. There goes another one. Although this Venetian's getting roasted over here.
Flees the battle. Run down those worthless peasants.
Dead. So yeah, as you can see, this isn't a scored resolution because the battle is going to end like right here. And as you can see, I deployed the most by far, probably because the others were too preoccupied getting artillery, because we basically all had 1,000,000 florins to spend, so it's not like there was a cash shortage or anything. And then on top of that, look who actually killed the most people. It was Venice by a long shot. I only killed 800. The Moors, as you can see, killed 406 because we were basically both wiped out by that time. To be fair, History General is not... you might think that he's like a complete douche, but he's not really, because he actually, for some reason, proclaimed me to be the winner of the battle. I guess based just on the fight between me and Venice, because he knew... I guess he kind of owned up to the fact that he cheated, basically. Well, not cheated, but played dirty. So, he named me the winner for that fight. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that he's any less of a... like... that doesn't mean that I favor him any more than I would have otherwise, but I just think that I guess it's nice to say that, yeah, I kind of cheated, so I guess I can give you credit for the victory at least. But yeah, this is my Total War public, I totally forgot what it was called, my public announcement about odd player free-for-alls is don't do what History General did. I know he owned up to it later, but just don't do it in the first place, and then it won't be a problem at all. Like, 3-player free-for-alls, you should clash in the middle at the same time with all 3 armies, not just have 2 armies fight and then the 3rd army come in and sweep everything off the field and vulture the kill and the win. Like, don't do that. That's not cool. But I guess I don't know what else to say really. I've ranted on long enough, so I'll see you all later.